morning everyone, looking wild, heading for Kilkenny once again. It is bright and early, getting the bus, was serenaded by the taxi driver, beautiful. No idea what to expect today, as always, just hoping there's a tournament and we'll work from there. Got to play Controlling a Message and Wizard. I'm here to play, here to win, and by the fact that I'm playing them alone, I should be pretty determined to win. That's how it goes, right? So we'll see what kind of crowd is there. I'm assuming Owen, Mark Walsh, maybe Sean's going to come up, and presumably some of the local Kilkenny people as well. So hopefully a good day out. Now I do feel underprepared for today because it's hard to get in the mindset to do tournament practice when you're not even sure if there are tournaments on. However, I've been playing Netrunner and watching it, so hoping that that in itself will do the job for me. So I think my bus has arrived, so time to hit the road. Good morning again. So I'm a bit more awake after my snooze on the bus. I've arrived in Kilkenny and ready for the day ahead. Still unsure how many or who is coming, but hopefully the local Kilkenny players will come out. Presumably some of the court lads will be up. I think Owen said he will be. Sean hasn't been at tournaments in a while, so maybe he'll take advantage of one being on. And should be interesting day out. As I said, playing Controlling the Message and Wizard because I don't like people having fun. So trying to get to Black Cat and see how we get on. So I have arrived, but the store is currently closed, which bodes well. This is the kind of place you're looking at. Really good store, but not open, and I'm currently the only player here, so fingers crossed people show up very, very soon. Meanwhile, I'll just have a think about the day ahead and what's in the decks, I suppose, and talk to Mike about the latest jank that he's run into and loves. Quick update, it is 11:40, still solo. Thinking back to the good old days of tournaments where there'd be a group of us chatting away about the latest cards and decks and things like that, but sadly, not today. Still hopeful that there will be a tournament or a person to play against. We'll see. Try and get some practice in for push your luck at the very least. Alright, it is recap time. Now, I have left it a few days, but the memory is still fresh. I am victorious. At long last, this ridiculous series name can be put to rest. I have finally claimed a tournament win, which I set out to do at the start of the year, I think. So, better late than never. But anyway, I'll fill you in on the matches and the general tournament and all that kind of thing as well. So, again, tournament in Ireland, not a great turnout. There was only 5 of us there. And that caused all sorts of issues and also had a significant bearing on how the tournament played out. So game 1, I'm up against Owen, my nemesis, my rival, the person who has stood in my way many a time when I've gotten somewhat close to a tournament win. But decided to play Controlling the Message and Kate. Possibly because I said what my decks were going to be, and obviously when there are people coming out who are taking things seriously, you're going to match it. So I was corping first, against Kate, which is challenging sometimes. It's a deck with rabbit holes and all the link that you can fit and all sorts of other shenanigans as well, as I later found out. But I started well. I got an Astro scored pretty early on, and then from there, as he was trying to set up and keep up with money and things like that, I was just getting myself set up, getting pad campaigns, things like that going. He was unable to find his rabbit holes for... I don't think he found them in the end, actually. So some of my assets were just able to stay. Now, did have plenty of money. He had Magnum Opus ticking away, and he just kept pumping for 8. Got Beth online, had New Angeles City Hall, had Film Critic. I was looking at the board going, ooh, things are looking grim. I decided to install advance a Global Food on a Sansan, the red Sansan, and just hope for the best. And I'm not sure why. I didn't ask him actually after the fact why he didn't go for it, but he left it off. So maybe he thought I was up to some shenanigans like NAPD. Maybe he assumed, if it's breaking news, he's just trying to lull me in and hit me with something. But in the end, I was able to just advance 3 times, get the Global Food out. And at that point, I was still looking at the board going, this is going to be challenging. How do I close this out? Because tagging him, not an option. Too much money, and New Angeles City Hall. Film critics to keep that alive, and yeah, it was looking dicey. So he was getting his R&D lock set up. I think he put down an R&D interface, and decided to have a poke. This is much later on in the game. Got through everything easy enough, and maybe that's why he let me have the global food. It was a case of, well, I'm going to lock him out because I have clot. I can get in anywhere I want. So yeah, take that agenda. Sure, I'm just going to bury you then. But he went through and he saw the Mumbad virtual tour. So if you're not aware of it, it's when it's installed, you have to trash it as a runner, and it costs 5. So he saw that and he was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Had one of them protecting my Res Sansan as well. Maybe that's another reason why he didn't go for the global food. And this is what I got to draw. So I was looking at Exploded Blues in hand, which is like, you were terrible to me. Especially with Film Critic, it becomes just a 4-2 agenda that you're not scoring, basically. But I was looking at it, Sansan on the board, draw the Mumbad Virtual Tour, and as so many of my games turned into against Owen, it was a case of I have to try and bluff this and see if he goes for it, I'm kind of sunk. So I shuffled them together and installed, and then just took 2 credits or drew or iced up or something like that. And he decided he would just press on R&D instead. So in the end, I was just able to advance by 3 and score out. I suppose a Sansan server with 2 Mumbad virtual tours, that's not a server you want to run into. So I can understand why he didn't go for it, and I'm very thankful that he didn't as well. Maybe I should get better at the game rather than hoping blindly that people don't run certain things. But better to be lucky than good sometimes. And that kind of carried into the second game as well. Playing Wizard up against Control the Message. I do have some of the hate cards in there. Southside Slums is an MVP. Managed to get it quite early against him. I was just able to keep chipping away. Also got Liberated Accounts down early. Had tons and tons of money. And for quite a while I was doing well. He tried to push for an early Astro behind a Resistor. For some reason I was like, yeah, I'll pay the 4 to go through and take a look and see what this is. And luckily enough got the Astro. So that set me off to a good start. I was able to take money off Liberated and keep me out of like hard-hitting news or mid-seasons range. And from there I was just trying to play carefully but also put on a good bit of pressure. Never got my medium down, but kept poking, kept getting amazing snipes. I was like, oh great, breaking news. Oh look, a Beal. And late on in the game I did make one mistake. I left myself a little weak. The hard-hitting news came and I was like, oh god. So I could be in trouble, but thankfully managed to win at that turn because I'm pretty sure I was done if it went on any longer. So that is my first time ever beating Owen 2-0. Very happy with how I played, but as I say, I need to depend less on bluffing and maybe more on just good solid play. Actually, there was a point in this game as well where there was a rules snafu, which I don't think Owen caught, and I apologise, my fault. I was very enthusiastic with the Sunset Slums. I knew I needed to take out the Sansan, probably more than anything, just to remove it from the game. But ran and trashed something, sent to Actors Union or something like that. And kind of hummed and hawed, was like, oh, Sansan, no I won't, I'll trash it. And we missed the timing of the trace and all that. Now, it didn't have an impact on the rest of the game, I think. Dan Darginio over here, trying to justify everything. But yeah, in hindsight, it should have just been Sansan that and deal with the Sansan normally. So yeah, bit of confusion there. I apologise, Owen. Unfortunately, I see how easy it is to happen. And unfortunately, Mark Walsh is recording some of these matches, so it's on record. So yeah, cheating my ass off. Game 2 then was up against Sean Shortis, who I've only come up against a handful of times. Back in the Kilkenny regionals, did have a match against him, and did not go well for me as far as I know, or I went 1-1. Can't really remember. But again, he was playing Control the Message and he was playing Wizard. But, importantly, it was Wizard without Salsa Slums. And Wizard without Salsa Slums against Control the Message is a much worse matchup for them. My assets were allowed to just kind of run amok, and I was getting good scores, getting things done. There was one turn that was quite handy. I had team sponsorship raised. So installed, advanced a breaking news. Gave him 2 tags. I was able to install an agenda onto the Sansan with the team sponsorship, and then was able to psychographics out. I think it was an Astro. So got myself up a good number of points in that one power turn and managed to just put on pressure from there. He was playing the Hate Bear deck, which is really, really cool. It took a while to get set up, but there came a point where I was like at 5 or 6 points and I thought, this is going really well. And then all of a sudden, Siphon's range down, he was doing big medium digs. And I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I can get out of this. I had 2 Sensi Actors Union on the board. He knew about both of them, but obviously if you have a medium dig going, you're thinking, well, I've seen the top 3, so if he's willing to draw them, that's fine. Did not realise that they could stack. So on the turn after he did a dig of 5 or 6 cards, I was able to use both, draw a ton of cards, managed to get the agenda, and managed to score out. So I think I was lucky there that his knowledge of that one card wasn't quite what it could have been. And I think he played one game earlier where one of the lads hinted at him that he could use it, but I think he missed that little tutorial. So, breathe a sigh of relief. On the flip side then, against controlling the message, I got my salsa slums again really, really early and was putting on good pressure, but in the end he put in this big hard-hitting news and did manage to trash my salsa, which did hurt. Took me quite a while to get back on that, and I couldn't challenge the Sansan. Unfortunately, he had an Astro with a token, was able to get a couple of Beals out, and managed to close out the last agenda as well. I was basically fishing for a while, looking just for the Salsat, but wasn't turned up for me, and let it slip away, unfortunately. But I do feel I was close in that match, and I'm happy overall with how I played, how I approached the deck. But again, left myself open to hard-hitting news, which is obviously not what you want to do. It's a big tempo hit, and a massive mistake in hindsight because it did cost me Salsa Slums, which was incredibly important. So then we're into round 3, and this is where the 5-person tournament really messed up with the system. In the end, I ended up with the bye, despite having a 3-1 record, and Sean was also on 3-1. Owen was 2-2. So in theory, he should have had the bye, but I'm not sure if it would have messed around with the fixtures. Obviously, the software didn't want me up against one of the players lower down the ranking. I'm not sure, but yeah. So I ended up taking it, and as a result, Sean needed to sweep Owen. Sweeping him once is difficult enough. Sweeping twice, it's that old George W. Bush.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." You fool me, we can't get fooled again.
So a weird way to end it and a weird way to win, but sometimes you gotta take it. And if I've learned anything since Worlds, it is that the goal of tournaments is to play as little as possible. I was listening to the Run Last Click podcast this week, where they did the recap with Chris Dyer and Dave Hoyland and a couple other people. And Chris was going into the second day in a good position, and he basically said, my goal on day 2 is to not play Netrunner, between intentional draws. And even now, if you're further down the ranking, there's this new 2-for-1 system where you have this big long speech prepared, and it's basically a case of both of you going into the final round. If one of you gets a 2-0 sweep, the other person just goes, you win the second game. If you win the first game, obviously. So, yeah, bizarre system. Not liking how some of these things are coming about, but that's probably another point for another day. And today, I have won a tournament. I'm a champion. But this is only the beginning. Obviously, the goal of this series was to win something, but I would like to go on into bigger, better, well, hopefully more populated tournaments, and put in good showings, maybe even take a win or 2 home as well. There was a cartoon released that summed up my thoughts on the matter, or how I'm sure most competitive players approach a given situation. So what changes here? Well, for the 5 viewers who enjoy these vlogs on a regular basis, and for myself, I will keep them going. I do enjoy just putting out my thoughts, rambling away to myself for a little while, and maybe filling one or two of you in on new things, techniques, things I've learned, spoilers, any of that kind of stuff. I just get to talk Netrunner, which is pretty good. But the ridiculous subtitle will be dropped. Much to the dismay of many people in Ireland, I'm sure, who'd love turning up to tournaments and going, oh, second place. Guess the series gets to keep going. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday morning and I am exhausted. Over the weekend I did quite a bit of travelling. I was in Limerick, Dublin and Kilkenny, and obviously it didn't leave me much time to do Netrunner recording, so decided to do it last night, but had other commitments first. And then got into it. Played for about an hour and a half. Played some of the worst Netrunner that I've ever played, which means I have no videos for today. Brilliant. So now I'm tired and cranky and still don't have the videos that I tried to record. Bad times. Instead, I'm going to have to do some recording tonight for tomorrow and just shift everything up a day. But in better news, Kiv has uploaded a video. I haven't watched it yet, but glad to see that he's making some sort of comeback at least. Alright everyone, thank you very much for watching. I apologise there were fewer videos this week. A little disorganised. I need to get my acting gear this weekend and get some games recorded. Try and get the backlog sorted. Of course, anytime I do that, it tends to go badly. So expect the next vlog to pick up with me going, I can't get games recorded. Now my attention turns to Push Your Luck, a fun little tournament in Cork that I've talked about before, in which you build 6 decks, 3 Corp, 3 Runner, and it's very much a test of luck, deck building, piloting skills. It's a lot of fun. People turn up with all sorts of weird and wacky decks. Some of them turn out to be pretty damn good, but it should be a good day out. This is when the Cork lads give back, and they're like, well, these are all the prizes that we won throughout the year, so now the other little people in the country can try and win 1 or 2. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.